Welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. And today's video is so important. I can't tell you how important this video is, because I promise you this: what you will learn about today in regard to how your body and your brain works and how to get out of feeling traumatized has the power to change your life forever. It did mine. So let's get started where we need to, which is the understanding of what trauma is and where it resides. And this is a differentiation I really urge you to understand. Trauma is of the body. Thinking, which in this context we'll call consciousness, meaning what you are thinking, is of the mind. And I want to use a metaphor to help you understand this differentiation. Let's imagine a castle behind perimeter walls, and the boundaries get compromised and the castle takes a hit of cannonballs. The damage is severe. Walls start crashing in, fires break out, people are running and screaming everywhere. The inner sanctum is in chaos. Now I want you to feel into this parallel. Let's say we receive significant verbal, mental, emotional or physical abuse. Whatever boundaries we may have had have been violated. They've suffered cracks or holes in their integrity, and the abuse enters our being and hits us hard. This creates trauma that is now inside us, and just like the castle, our emotional center, the true us, our inner being, which just happens to be the epicenter of our entire life, whether we realize it or not, has been wounded. And this means the composition of our inner identity, as well as our belief systems regarding ourselves, life, and others, are now damaged and distorted. So what I've just described, I really want to reiterate, is trauma is a hit that happens inside of us. It occurs within our inner being, which is to do with our emotional composition and the beliefs that shape our life, which in other words is our subconscious programming. And this is the crazy thing. Our emotional inner compositions, which have been compromised with trauma, have not had nearly enough attention, and they should have. Because if you have had hits of trauma that are wedged inside of you and they remain there and have never been released and reprogrammed, another word for that is up-leveled, what that means is our subconscious is like a heat-seeking missile programmed on a set result, and it will play out with life and others to the letter the traumatic belief that is superglued inside us with painful trauma keeping it in place. Beliefs like, no one is there for me, I'm all alone, people I love deceive me, abandon me, hurt me, replace me, lie to me, cheat on me, whatever it is. What does a subconscious belief system that has the power of significant trauma energizing it do? This is the answer. It generates the validity of that belief until it is reprogrammed a different way. So we keep playing out the same painful patterns with the same people, just with different faces. And this is where people think I can change my subconscious beliefs with my mind, but this is wrong town. I promise you, especially with significant trauma. Easier trauma, smaller trauma, less impactful trauma maybe, but not big trauma, and certainly not trauma at the level that narcissistic abuse delivers. How do we change the belief? The answer is actually ridiculously simple. It's this: release and replace the trauma that is attached to the belief. Then the belief has nothing gluing it down inside of us, and it melts away organically. I want you to understand this: the emotion created the belief. The emotion released relieves the belief. The brain follows the body. Scientific experiments have been conducted with people showing them shocking images flashing up on a screen. And these people are placed on monitors. The results are astounding, and they're a proven fact that the body, the cellular being, the heart, the senses, the nervous systems, all of it registers the shocking image and responds cellularly even before the brain has had a chance to take the image in and make an assessment of it. Once we learn quantum truths and we start healing in quantum ways, which are far superior to the healing that we were trying to do cognitively previously, we realize that the body has a far more powerful intelligence and is running the show, and our brain is only following it. In fact, scientists are now proving that the subconscious body intelligence within us is running approximately 90 to 95% of our life, mostly on autopilot. And our thinking is organised around exactly what the belief systems are that are deeply programmed within the subconscious. In real terms, what this means is if we have significant trauma wedged inside us that has severely compromised our belief systems, we're in big trouble. Because all of our thinking, whether we like it or not, or no matter how hard we try to do it differently, will be aligned with the belief systems that are hurting us and our lives dramatically. Let me give you an example of trauma consciousness, a really usable, real-life one that narcissistic abuse generates for us. The narcissist threatens you with something like this. I'm going to take your business down, or I'm going to put you into authorities. I'm going to keep the children from you. I'm going to poison your beloved dog, smash your prized possession, whatever it is that the narcissist threatens. When we're carrying the trauma trapped inside us of people take away my rights, they smash me, they hurt me, they violate my boundaries, they destroy everything that matters to me, they hurt those that I love, and I'm powerless to stop them, we regress into the thinking of the small, terrified, powerless child. We hand over power. We show up in ways that have us pleading, begging, and screaming. We feel terrified and out of control. The reason is because our thinking, our neuron pathways, can only operate within the consciousness level that matches the internal programming on that topic. In other words, exactly what beliefs, healthy or otherwise, that we have embedded in our subconscious in regard to that topic. If we had compromised boundaries when we were very young with parental figures, and or if we had epigenetic trauma that our ancestors have passed on down the line in regard to such things as war-torn atrocities or abuse by authorities, that have been imprinted into our DNA. And I promise you, scientifically, that is now being proven as correct. Trauma gets passed on down through the generations. We will feel, then think, and it goes in that order, in exactly the ways that we feel, which is the trauma. We're terrified. We feel under siege. We may even feel like we are going to die. What happens when the trauma gets triggered is all going on within us, chemically. We get a rush of the neuron peptides that create the production of cortisol and adrenaline, and our frontal lobe shuts down, and all we have access to is the back of our brain, the amygdala, which is the primitive survival center of fight or flee, and it's totally about fear. We have no access to calm, assertive responses and mature solutions and boundaries. Yet when we're not carrying that trauma of being smashed by authorities and powerless to defend ourselves, and when we've healed all of that stuff up and out of our being, and we've replaced it with well-being, which is exactly our human quantum capacity to heal ourselves now, which is the healing we do in this community, we're at a different level of consciousness. Now, on that topic, our inner subconscious programs are things like this. Life supports me. I'm a source of truth, authenticity, solidness, and maturity. People can do what they like, but as a healed, whole adult, I can now look after myself. I am safe. Then we show up completely differently. We look the narcissist square in the eye and we say something like, okay, do your best, do what you want. And we walk away and we get our own life and boundaries in order. We do it calmly and assertively. We don't try to argue with them, change their mind, plead, beg, or make deals with them. We just do our life from our own position of power. And at the end of the day, we know if they do try or even do something, then we'll deal with it. We may not be able to stop them, but we can stop handing our power away, feeding them energy and getting further abused. The real reason that we can do this is because our brain, due to the healthier composition of our subconscious programs, now is aligned with a whole host of higher and wider ways of feeling, thinking, and being. Pathways that grant access to positive inspiration, inner wisdom, guidance, and solutions, and even miracles. And there is an even grander and more powerful truth going on. From the universal consciousness standpoint, the interconnected quantum field, you now have access to all that life can provide to support your health and wholeness on this topic from outside sources, because that completely matches what is going on inside of you. And we start to awaken to the truth. What is going on inside of us, which we can choose to reprogram, is co-generating with life all of our life. Now we're in a position to diffuse narcissists because they're not getting the desired reaction. We're not escalating anything and we're refusing to be scared by them. This stuff can't be acted, it can't be faked. It can only be created by getting ourselves out of the trauma consciousness. And that's a job that happens within. When we realize that the subconscious programs and the powerful biochemicals that are being distributed through our being are controlling and hijacking up to 95% of all our emotional and then logical functioning, we know that trying to stop the onslaught of the chemicals flooding through our cells with our mere mind, which only has a 5% tender in the game, is like trying to stand in front of a locomotive to stop it. The only way to stop it is to change the composition of our cells and the biochemicals they're creating, which means to change the composition of our beliefs, which means to release and replace the trauma in our inner being that is super gluing those beliefs in place, period. That is the simple and powerful and definitive answer that sets off the organic progression of the reprogramming it of ourselves. And once we start doing that, we wonder how we were trying to do life any other way. Know this with all of your heart because it's true. It's the message that quantum scientists are trying to bring home so that no longer do we have to remain traumatized, powerless, and limited by our subconscious programming. The brain follows the body. Change the body and the brain automatically shifts organically and it seamlessly follows. That is the real way to heal, and that's what we do the Thrive Away. So I hope that that's you've been able to take all of that in. You might want to watch this a few times and go back through it. And come over to the blog, join in the conversation at blog.melanietoniaevans.com. So until the next Thriver TV show, keep smiling, keep healing, and keep thriving because there's nothing else to do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.